Okay, and we should be live. So, I'm going to be continuing this from last night. This is a melee-only run-through of Dead Rising 1, where we're going to go... Basically, the goal is to fight all the psychopaths, because scoring survivors really isn't a big deal. So, I actually skipped a couple of them just to make sure I had room for, like, the Cletus fight, for example, which took up a significant portion of the day. He was very hard. If you want to see that, it's still out on the channel. You can go back and watch it. I don't think it's actually too long. But it was pretty good. The Cletus fight was awesome. I also actually really enjoyed the cliff fight in Chryslips. It was super cool. It's the dude with the machete. I found some good use for the football tackle, which is something I knew it had to have a good use. But I just could not find one. So I'm actually going to probably totally use that move in the future, because it was extremely helpful with him. In a way, it was actually, even though it's slower, it was a very consistent way to kill him. So, to catch up a little bit, basically, melee only, I can use food and books, so you'll notice I have... Do I have a... Yeah. I have the Wrestling Fan book, which increases your hand-to-hand combat. Doesn't actually seem to do that much. I kind of suspect it might only actually affect your punches and stuff, or like your hand martial arts or something weird, because I haven't really noticed any difference, but keeping it in my inventory just in case. We are on Bomb Collector. Oh, I should mention I also have two of the health books, the 50% one and the 100% bonus, just because if you look at something like Cletus, I go through so much food just because it's like for every little punch on him, you would take like 6 shotgun shells to the face. So I'm going to go stock up over here, and we're going to go down to do Bomb Run. Now, for the sake of making this watchable, I am going to be using cars. Otherwise, this is just a really boring scoop. Like, if the maintenance tunnels were actually packed with zombies, it'd be a little more interesting to do melee only. But the downside is, there's just hordes of zombies placed kind of all around the area. So it's not really like me fighting hordes and hordes of zombies to get through. It's more of, oh, it's an empty tunnel for 100 feet. And then there's a bunch of zombies, but once you get through there, it's another giant empty tunnel. So it would just be a lot of me running around. I will kill these convicts. One thing that this run has done is it's made me, I guess, fear the convicts less. Like, they never were too bad. They should be over there. Where are you guys at? They were never too bad, but they were always, like, seemed like a real pain to go deal with unless you had, like, the Mega Buster. I'm pretty sure they spawn over here, but sometimes they can drive, and there they are. Get stuck randomly. So, yeah. One of the downsides of this is I actually need to tweak the audio. I always forget to do this, is I can sometimes lose monetization on these streams, which isn't a big deal, but it's kind of annoying because the song's playing in the background. Come on, get stuck. If I can get them stuck between these two trees, or tree and lamppost, that would be perfect. Come on. Man, this is the first time that guy's been, like, actually useful. Normally he's just, like, a bitch. Generally, what you want to do is I want to get the driver first, because then that guy will move over. I could also potentially get the gunner, but that's not realistic, I think. Just because it's very easy for that dude to back up. There we go. Double Lariat's pretty good here if you can get it off, just because it hits it over and over, which is actually something that's extremely rare to do in this game. Like, that's one thing that's been a real issue is the double Lariat's a great move, but psychos, like, get a little bit stun lock protection after the first hit. So you only get, like, one punch of the double Lariat, actually making it a really bad move, despite being so amazing against zombies. The exceptions are when you just want to get any hit at all, so you throw a bunch at them. Or like there, where they don't have a choice but to, like, keep getting hit because they're stuck. Like, it's awesome against them because it's just like hit, hit, hit. You can take them all down. I think if you hit every single blow, it would probably kill them in one Lariat. If you haven't looked at Frank, I have the Jason mask and the Capcom Speedo, I guess it is. I just felt that was kind of fitting for this melee-only run-through. What else? So I'm hoping I want to mention again, there's a survey in the description. It's the same one as the last stream, so you don't have to retake it if you don't want, but thank you so much to the people that actually answer that, it really gives me a little bit of perspective on like what people want to see next, because it's hard to get that feedback unless you go out and really try for it. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm hoping to get a live setup going for off the record, a blind run through, and just kind of give my opinions, see what I can do. I'm hoping I can do pretty decent because it's still Dead Rising 2, just with Frank, but I think it'd be kind of fun. After that, I will probably do, depending on when I can get, oh yeah, that's right, they do this, don't they? Why do I guess I normally have the maintenance tunnel key, and I go down through the Paradise Plaza with the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly, I'm going to go here, I'm going to get this bomb first, if I recall. Like, it tells you get the bombs in a certain order, but I believe you can get them in any order if you just know where they are, which, after doing this mission like 6 times in a row these last couple weeks, I'm pretty sure I have it down. It's essentially every major like entrance, like the entrance plaza. It's going to be in the Paradise Plaza, etc. So this is what I kind of meant, where it's like, it's not really much of a threat. It's just going to be a lot of me running around if I did all of this just walking. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. The other option would be to get like a skateboard, but depending on like, I guess, what you think, that may or may not break the rules of the run. I just thought it was weird. It's like, is this like refrigerated? I guess that would make sense, but they have that like mist there. So I'll go and grab this. I wish there was a more elegant solution for this, but really it would just be really boring. It actually spawns more zombies. Hello, Carlito. So I will be killing Carlito. Oh, there we go. Because, come on. What's interesting is if you kill Carlito, it teleports you around. So that actually puts me over by the entrance, the Paradise Plaza, which has a car. So it's a really good option where I'll try and pace myself. Come on. Is this what's happening? I'm really surprised I've yet to get like comboed to death, because there's been a lot of times where that was come very close to happening. I think it's this. Is this gonna be the start of the run? Is it death? There we go. So this is one thing I was afraid of, is that I might just not have a good option. It looks like I can hit him, but there we go. Also, he's gonna run away, so that's one of the issues. He certainly must have blown up my car. No. Huh. So we're gonna turn this around. You actually have a lot of time to do this scoop. I might actually be close to Paradise Plaza, as is. You have a lot of time to do this scoop, even though it totally does not look like you do. Like, it's already red, but... Okay, food court. I believe you can actually beat him by just ramming, but... I'd like to man only. Although I don't consider him in the same class as any other psychopath. Like, he's kind of... I don't know, this weird one. It's like saying I'm not going to worry about going out of my way to prove that I can kill occultists with melee, just because... Yeah, they're technically psychos, but not really. If only he could hurt himself. Luckily, he will clear out these zombies for us. So where are we at? Let me kind of do this. Food court. So, what I'll probably do is might as well grab this one. And I don't think my car can take any more. It would have been a good idea to grab the maintenance tunnel key. Oh, it looks like it's smoking. That's not good. Oh, we can get a little bit of use out of it. What's nice about the maintenance tunnel key is it just fundamentally changes how you do this mission, because it lets you go down. Don't be a dick, Carly. It lets you go down to the maintenance tunnel from essentially any area in the wall. So I think it's a little bit faster to walk around up there, for example. So I can go up, walk over to Paradise Plaza, go down, grab a bomb, or go get the car, and it's just so much simpler. But it's a big pain where you never go near the entrance, like not you never go anywhere close to where you can get the key, except for when you do this mission that you need it. Come on, you're so close, Carlito. He's like programmed, it seems, to like run away after like so many hits or so much damage. Like now he's just gonna go. I'd like to kill him, but now it's just gonna be a long walk to the next one. Come on. It's kind of interesting if you get all the bombs and then leave in a different route. Like the way you trigger the last cutscene is really awkward. Like you take the bombs, you go up into the mall, then you can come all the way around and go back down into the underground the main way, and then that triggers the cutscene of you getting them all and then running out. I think it's one of the poor planned cutscenes, but it is there. Like I actually was surprised. Like I had this theory that what happens if you go underground and drive to the supermarket before the Sean fight? Not Sean. The fight in Sean's, the grocery store, Stephen Chapman's fight. Turns out you actually do get a key from that you need to get the medicine, and then that's how they require it. I was wondering, like, it might be optional if you just... You know, I thought the key only unlocked the door to that hallway, but if you recall, the, come on. The, door there into the hallway is locked, but you can actually take the, come on. The maintenance tunnel exits behind that door, too. I like that he bothers to honk. Like, what's with that? Come on. This is being surprisingly difficult to, like, find a good spot. Because he doesn't seem to want to, like... Come on. I could probably just jump kick him to death. He doesn't seem to want to throw bombs at me. Just run me over. Yeah. There we go. What's nice is essentially all this food is a full heal every time. So I'm pretty tanky as long as I can actually find points to heal with. Which is not easier said than done. Alright. Let me get some other stuff going here. It's like really hard to stream and also manage a stream at the same time. So I'm not gonna bother going after Brad, just because I don't feel like there's much of a reason to. So again, I mentioned this, but no matter where you kill Carlito, it will always leave you off at this spot because that's where his car is, and then there is always a car under the Paradise Plaza entrance. So what's actually nice is if you say if you're going out of order, I guess what's the farthest one? Like here. Like there's no car here. So if you can kill Carlito here, it'll teleport you here. And then you can get in a car. And it's a very useful tool that I had put off like actually figuring out for a while. So I think it's this way. Nope, that's wrong. Although I will say like this, if you're having trouble with this scoop, go get the key. Because then essentially if you have the key, you can avoid the van Carlito entirely. Plus, it's just so much faster because like you can hop down and you'll come out here to start the scoop with the car, and then you essentially get 2 freebies before he spawns in. Because you can go get the one that's down here and then get the North Plaza one as well. Alright. I have like the sound turned a little bit. This car really like whines. If you didn't know, you can also get survivors in these cars, but it's never, like, it's never relevant, because the only car is, like, in Paradise Plaza, and it's really rare you are, like, escorting people, there we go, from Paradise Plaza, except for Isabella, and Isabella doesn't follow you, so. This is a little fun fact. The only exception I can think is the convicts, but that only works if you kill them in that instance. So, it'd be different if it's like, oh, kill the convicts, and... Am I supposed to go out? Oh, yeah, because I'm coming from North Block. If you, like, kill the convicts while you're escorting someone, I guess that helps. But usually, it's, like, faster just to ignore them anyway, or just send them out to the exit. So, let's go. So many cutscenes. It is nice. The Xbox One version is pretty good on its load times. I can only imagine on PC with a solid state hard drive just how awesome Dead Rising must become. Because loading screens, especially in the 360 version, That's like a real big issue. It's something you just kind of get used to. But back when I first made that Dead Rising 1 master run. Alright, here, let me actually get up. What I have Woman in Despair. That's what, Simone? I'll head over there and I'll get her, but really there's no like real reason to, because she's not hard, and that's usually what I look for. Is like, let me do an interesting scoop. Escorting her from Paradise Plaza to the warehouse really isn't a big deal at all. Got. I overestimated my turn radius on that. Alright. For some reason they made the motorcycle like super weak. I don't know why they did that. It's like kind of like a skateboard. Like, I believe it's one of the faster vehicles, but you have to actively avoid zombies. And you never want to take it down in the maintenance tunnel because it just breaks way too fast. Especially if you start hitting the propane tanks. Then you're just screwed. So, I think next week I'm probably, like I said, I want to do that blind run of Off the Record. I might, if I don't have the live setup, I might sub in and do Dead Rising 2 first. Just with this setup. And just so I can kind of get that out of the way. Have I done... Yeah, I've done the Kent scoop already. It's actually way later than I realized. So, we'll see. It depends, because I'd like, since that's going to be, like, I think, a lot more fun, and they'll probably... That might even take, like, a couple sittings to do it. Just because, like, as a blind run, I'm going to be watching all the cutscenes. I might die and have to reattempt things, assuming it's kind of the same idea. Plus, I'll probably do, like, achievements and stuff for the first time on the stream, just because I think they'd be a little more fun. Like, my, first time running Zombie Genocider, I guess I might as well get Simone. I'm literally right here. Like, first time running Zombie Genocider is a little more interesting, because you can, like, have stakes, because you realize, oh no, I didn't save, and I'm about to die, and I could just lose 2 hours of progress. Is this not... Oh yeah, she's sitting down, that's right. So, there is a requirement for Simone, if you aren't aware. You have to do the case files to save her, because she's been bitten. What is with her ear? I guess that's just a shadow. So, unless you have Isabella in the safe room to tell you, like, oh wait, I can potentially treat this, she won't come with you. So, it's one of the reasons why you have to do the main story if you want to do the Saint achievement, I believe. I'd have to look at the math on that, because if you don't do the story, you don't get Simone and you don't get Isabella. But then you do get to save, I guess, Jesse and Brad and potentially Barnaby, if you don't get Isabella. So maybe you don't need to do it. But I think there might be some other people tied to the story that I can't recall. It's been a long time since I did just the Saint achievement. Usually I just go save everyone, so. Just moving her hair back and forth. Come on. Oh, I just thought her name was weird, like Simone Ravendark. Like, what's with that? Alright. We'll just kind of clear a path out. It's been interesting, like, trying to get perspective on all these moves. Like, I have different moves I use, just like normally for Dead Rising. Like, obviously the double lariat's just a classic. Use it all the time, even if you're not doing like a melee only run. The jump kick's another huge one that you just like changes your gameplay. Football tackle's been a real star, I'd say. Knee drops, classic. I'm trying to think of other big moves that have come up. I was hoping the wall kick would be a lot more useful, but I always forget I have it. Because you have to like buy a wall to use it, but it's probably one of the best ones for actually getting a drop on it. The, what is it called, like the judo kick or whatever, where you land roundhouse like that. Also, just too hard to pull off in any important circumstance. Also, not using dodges as much as I would expect for melee only. I actually don't use dodges a lot, because they're so unwieldy. There we go. And I don't necessarily know why. They're a little bit better in Dead Rising 2. Because they're, yeah. I guess the thing is, like, you can't control, like, the distance. So in like the Cletus fight, it's not like I can say roll specifically behind this thing. I just kind of have to roll in that direction. It's really good, I think, if you don't know what you're doing, to be like, oh no, I went into the gun store. Let me just roll out of it. I just went out or farther away. But in my use, I find like it's not that great, or it's not so great where you can just like, oh god, it's convicts, whip it out. Because the downtime for dodging it after is actually really too detrimental for you to use it. Like, oh yeah, I dodged the convicts one, but now I'm stuck like standing up and they just run me over. Like they just turn 2 feet and now they hit me again. Or like with Cletus, he's just gonna, you'll dodge a couple shots, but then you stand up and you take a shot to the face anyway. Alright. Technically, I was trying to get the achievement where you photograph 50 survivors. I don't know how that's going. I will make sure I get Simone.
Perfect.
But I think I missed a couple people, and I don't know if it counts between playthroughs or not. In theory, I should have 50, I believe.
Perfect.
But I think it's just like the last couple survivors. It must not, because otherwise I would definitely have that achievement, it seems. Just because it's like photograph 50 survivors, but you don't need to save them. So that counts like, I guess, like all the people in the entrance plaza, which I believe I took their photos. Now that I think of it, I don't actually know if I did. But that's like, what, 5, 6 people? That they all count towards that achievement, but you don't need to save them. So now we're just going to have to wait out jamming device. I've always, for some reason, I always thought it was weird. Like, what is this sticker? It looks like a warning sticker. I guess this is a safe, but why is it a shark? Like, is that a logo or something? What's even in that safe? What's nice is you can actually, if you do bomb run, it lets you end the game early, which can be useful for some unlocks. Like if you're super fast with Zombie Genocider, it's actually almost worth doing the scoops, because then you don't need to wait until the end of the 3 days to get your unlock. Whereas if you didn't know, I believe you can get the Mega Buster as soon as you finish that achievement, but in order to unlock it for future playthroughs, you have to end the game. Not just quit and start a new one, you have to actually get a ending, like a lettered ending. And it's like a thing that a lot of people don't know that, so they'll go spend like 2 to 4 hours grinding out Zombie Genocide, like, yes, I got it, quit the game, and then realize, oh, it didn't save. And if you don't have a save from Zombie Genocider, which is very common because you don't need to, you're in a car the whole time, you may like screw yourself over. I think I almost did, even where it was like, even though I saved, I still like almost got pushed back down to like 20,000 from 30,000 just because you don't save like every run. There's no real save point on your route. The best thing you can do is like hop up to like Paradise Plaza, save, go back down. Always save. The having multiple save files has been really a huge deal. I'm so glad they did that in remasters. It really opens the game up. Because one of the issues was always that you can't stagger saves. Whereas now you can say, here's the save I'm working on, but I always can have like the backup just in case you realize, oh, I didn't leave enough time to do that last scoop. Like that's happened before with me when I was doing the Satan run through. I had forgot, I thought the survivors hidden in the gun store had some more time, or at a different time, so I didn't go get them. Well, I had saves after that, so I essentially had screwed myself over. Well, since I have multiple, I can go back and be like, okay, well now I can go to day 2 and play up to 3 and get them again and finish that up. Alright, so I think this is going to be to the hideout. It's perfect. I once again let my coffee get way too cold. I made this coffee at like 7:30, and it's like 10 o'clock now. Oh, I always do this where I leave Isabella. So like this is another thing where you're like technically escorting her, so like you can't go too far out of your way. Actually, I do want to try. I want to say you also can't pick her up because she's not a normal survivor. Because I have a hunch you could go other ways. If you could like get her down to the maintenance tunnel, you could just drive her, I think. But since you can't pick her up, there's no good way of controlling her. I guess you could theoretically push her all the way over there, but That'd be super annoying, I think, to do in practice. Oh, come on. Yeah, I can't seem to do any of like my normal moves on her. Like normally there's the lift up skill, and so certain annoying survivors you can just pick up and carry somewhere. Can't do that with Isabella, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would totally drag her over to the Paradise Plaza maintenance tunnel entrance, and then you could drive her all the way to the supermarket, and then you just walk out that way. Because I think she's in the same kind of class as psychos, where like you'll think like all psychos have like different protections than god damn it than survivors do. Like you can pick up survivors, you can do moves on them. Can't do any of that to psychos, and a lot of psychos are immune to certain attacks that affect zombies, where survivors are essentially in the same class as a zombie. So like for example, I believe survivors will trip on oil if you throw it on the ground. Psychos won't. I think that's actually a bad thing about the game, but it's not really something that comes up for the average player. Personally, I think an ideal Dead Rising game would be not crazy and silly weapons, but more of like a Rube Goldberg, like, I like made this contraption that, I don't know, could be theoretically silly, but it actually does work. It's not over the top. It actually does what it's supposed to. It's just, I don't know, cobbled together from stuff you'd find in the mall. Like the example I use is like killing Carlito with the hockey stick in the Sniper Carlito fight is a very great example. Like it's not unreasonable or too silly. Like it kind of is silly, but at the same time, it does exactly what you want. Like you have this weird kind of solution to this annoying fight. It's in the style of the game, using these. Like, everything's a weapon situation. Whereas for a game that's sold on, like, the fact that you can use everything as a weapon, they really do force you, like, down the gun path, I think. A little bit too much, in my mind. Because, like, even, like, Sniper Carlito, they, like... Not Sniper, but the Food Court Carlito, they're like, here's your gun, use it. And they, like, kind of seem to sell that. And maybe that's back from when they wanted the game to be, like, a little bit more serious. Come on, Isabel. So they want to be like, obviously guns are good, and you only do other weapons out of necessity. So, I don't know. I think it's gone in a different direction. I'm really curious to play 3 and Case West and Off the Record. It's weird how, like, having played so much Dead Rising 1 and 2, I don't have much experience at all with the new stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's one of the reasons I kind of want to push forward the Off the Record playthrough, just because it's a new Dead Rising game. But if possible, I would also like to play them all in order, just for the effect of the story. So I'd like to play Case West to kind of see how it sets up for 3. And obviously, Off the Record doesn't count because it's not canon.
Anyone there? Anyone there?
Capcom's always been good about doing some fun stuff that's not technically canon. Alright. There is some moves I wish I could actually try out a little bit more, like one of the ones that I know is actually really good that I never use is the zombie swing. I'll try and demonstrate it up here at a good spot. Let's see, Isabella getting stuck. I'm actually in this position where like I'm kind of like too strong to use it easily. Because you essentially need to kick a zombie down. There we go. And have it live. It's like and then you can pick it up and throw it around. Come on. But you'll notice, like, these zombies get up so fast. Or they just die as soon as they go down. Essentially, you grab by the ankles and you swing it around. And you can't swing it forever. But you can also choose to end it prematurely and throw it. It makes a very, very good weapon when you can do it. Come on. It's like hold X and aim. Oh, that's not it. You have to, like, very specifically be by the ankles. That, I don't know what you call it, push forward or whatever, is also something I never use because it's too hard to pull off in practice. But you can grab a zombie or survivor from behind and you just throw them. It's very useful for certain survivors. Like, I showed it off during the, there's an unlisted scoop where you help an old woman and you have to hold her hand. Well, technically, you can also just, like, shove her like that and she'll run full speed by herself, which is something that I don't think is intended. Because the whole scoop is the fact that if you don't hold her hand, she gets like winded super quickly, so she has to stop constantly, and then she gets attacked. Come on. I kind of wish you could actually do these moves to dead bodies. Lift up's not particularly helpful. I wish I had a little bit better like crowd clearing. Like double lariat is good for breaking out of crowds. It's actually not that great, I found, at clearing like a space forward. When I first looked into the football tackle, I was hoping it would be more for like breaking up a crowd, but you like do this buck that just kind of makes the move so much worse. Because it's not like, oh, charge through, knock a whole bunch of zombies down. Instead, it's just another move with a lot of setup that only kills one zombie. Plus, so many martial arts moves are like actually super lethal to survivors near you. So you know, it's like Isabel. Isabel actually has a ton of health, but I hit her a lot. It's an issue if you don't keep your survivors at high health, that they'll get stuck in a crowd, lose more health, but you have nothing to like break them out safely. Because if you double lariat, you'll hit him in the face and kill him, and that's not what you want to do. There we go. I also want to do a run through of this just to cleanse my palette and like use a bunch of weapons again. I think at some point I'm going to do a run through of the game where I can't reuse the same weapon twice. So obviously it's like, okay, I got one shotgun, got to save for Cletus. And then I think by the end of it, you're really going to be scraping the barrel. The big thing is you also can't use food twice. So that's going to be interesting. Like, oh man, I gotta go to the supermarket because the only thing left I have to heal myself is cheese. And if you're not careful, I might run out of food. Like, if you ever done like the gourmet achievement, there's not that many options in the game. There's like 20. Like, I would love to get to the point where it's like, oh, I need to go make zombie because that's the only thing left. It seems like it'd be a lot of fun. It would suck though if I'm like on day 2 and I realize I can't heal anymore. I could probably cheese that if you level up, you get a full heal. So if I was like if I made like a level 40 account, that would make it a little bit easier to do that, because then I could just like level up instead of healing, like take some photos and be fine. My head is an orange juice. So let me check some stuff while I'm saving. Oh god, I started my own stream. It's like, I like having the stream open so I can see, or like if I can hear if, say, the audio cuts out. But it also derails you so much. Like if you just hear yourself talking while you're talking, but at that like delay, it's like, what? It's confusing, to say the least. So anyway, I'm going to head out. We still have a little bit more time to do Jesse's Discovery. If you come here earlier, there is 3 survivors in this gun store. It's an unlisted scoop. And to keep it secret, they leave before you get the hideout scoop, essentially. Because otherwise, everyone would always find them, because you go straight there as part of the main story. They have this weird caveat where you have to have taken a photo of the air duct to the safe house in a playthrough. So it's something where if you know it's coming, you can take that photo right at the beginning. You don't even have to actually keep the photo, weirdly enough. And photos from previous playthroughs do not count. Whereas like with the Kent scoop, you can keep a photo from like another playthrough and just use that. So, but then again, it'd be more annoying if you weren't like going right by that constantly anyway. I should pick this up. Okay. I love using that. Someone introduced the idea of doing the wall kick to get up high things. I love it. It's so awesome. Like, I use it in the warehouse to get down, and it just looks so great, and you'll kill some zombies on the way. So much better than the knee drop that I never remember the name of. I think I've called like knee drop, leg drop, drop knee, knee kick. It's so many things. I never get it right. But yeah, I'm hoping I might even try to do off the record over on Twitch. I want to move over there. That's part of the new setup I'm trying to get going. But I just have to do a bunch of research and how can I recreate that. I have to do some tests to make sure I can like, scene switch with OBS and just do some generally cool stuff. Because when you start incorporating like live action, it brings a lot of other things into the mix. Like a big thing is I have the green screen and I can go make like the actual setup for that. But I'm going to have to investigate lighting. Like, that's just going to be a big thing. Oh, what do we got? Oh, she's going to want a handgun. So you're meant to think there's another scoop where if you give him the handgun, he kills himself. So I think you're meant to think that. When in reality, it's just free PP. There's no reason to do it or not to do it. So what I was going to... But anyway, I want to move to Twitch. So if I start doing like a green screen, I need to worry about lighting. But like the lighting is like super specific to get the green screen effect because you don't want to have like any shadows. It needs to be super consistent, so I can't like say it'd be nice if I could just like open my windows and oh look, the sun covers all that. But then if I start streaming later and later, it's like 10, you'll see the green screen will just like go to like fade to shit because it no longer has that one consistent color it can look for to chroma key out. I'll have to go through and make sure I don't have like green clothing. Because like I have some for like my job that I would probably just wear like accidentally and then realize, oh, I don't have a torso right now and I don't want that. It's this whole thing. But at the same time, I want to make sure I invest a lot of time in the research of it because I don't want to go buy a bunch of lights and stuff and then realize, oh, these lights have the wrong warmth and color to them. Because that's a whole thing. I've always been like super into lighting just as a personal thing. Like I went out and tried a whole bunch of different bulbs just to like get the right thing for like my room. Because what sucks is in my apartment is I have this really nice large bedroom, but they have like 2 light bulbs in the very center, and that's it. And I upgraded them to just some like really good LED ones that are a little more like daylight. But even they're like stretching to try and cover this entire space. But on the other hand, I don't want to have just like a bunch of freestanding lamps. That's probably what I'm going to have to essentially do for the green screen. But luckily, I can put those away. I've actually priced out. I thought lighting was going to be way more expensive. But it doesn't look like it's going to be too crazy. Like, I looked, even you can get some nice photography ones for like 50-ish. Which I consider the lights to be a pretty substantial investment. Like, it's not substantial as in it's a lot of money, but substantial like, you get a lot out of it. Like, what's nice about the green screen is I can use that for pretty much anything. It doesn't have to be just a streaming setup. Like, I would like to do some other live action stuff, and I might film on the green screen just because it's a little bit easier than dealing with lighting and other stuff. So I'll film it on my own. There we go. I'll film it in front of the green screen. I'll edit like a different little thing in. Or I know if you've ever seen like in progress movie shots, it's kind of interesting how much green screen they use. But not like, oh, it's just an actor in a green room. They'll just say like, oh, well, we really like this street. We want to film on it, but for copyright reasons, we can't have this store here. So let's just put green right there, and we'll edit just that part out. It's really kind of interesting. Or they'll do like just like small bits of the background in green screen. Now, I mean, I wouldn't do this, but in theory, I could say, clean my apartment really well, just take a photo of it, and then green screen myself in, so I'm lazy. But I'm gonna try and avoid that. It's gonna be interesting though. I've never done anything like that. Like I don't have a huge background at all in live action filming. Like I'm a software developer and all my stuff and education's in that. Everything else has just been stuff I taught myself on the side. So let's go kill this butcher. I think the butcher's the last main psycho I'm gonna have to fight. So I might end the run there because I actually do have plans I want to do a little bit later today. It's just what sucks about streaming Dead Rising is it's 6 hours. So if I start at 6 p.m., it goes until midnight, and there is no getting around that. Just for the sake of argument, I might stick around until midnight just to finish out the case files, and then once the special forces are there, you can just get captured and then end the game that way. So I might do that, but it would be nice, like if I was into, like, say, if I was a speedrunner on a game that you can actually finish early. Well, then I feel like I would put more. It'd be a lot easier to stream, is what I'm saying, I guess. As is, it does suck, because I usually have to go, I'll do all the main missions, on Friday night starting at 6 p.m. and then on Saturday I'll usually get up, I'll do a bunch of stuff, and I'll finish it out the next day. And that's more for like, what's it called? Not perpetuity, but like future viewers. Like, it's not so much that I expect people to watch this one live as it is, oh, they watched that one live where you go fight all the psychos that are interesting. And this is just for the, oh, here's how it ended. Look, I actually beat the run without doing anything. Like, I wanted to show all the psychos, so for completeness, I have to show the Butcher. But, hold on. I might not be able to go down that way. I need to go down in the maintenance tunnels, I bet. Because I don't have the key to get down there. Forget this. Because I almost always grab that on my downtime. But I'm trying not to use cars more than I absolutely have to. Okay. I'm looking forward to Dead Rising 2, and I know, well, playing it, I should say, just because it's like gonna be fresh. Because I played a lot of Dead Rising 1, and these challenge runs, despite definitely giving me new light on the game, are still like, okay, how many times have I beaten Sniper Carlito, or Food Court Carlito's a joke, or that's how much time I spent just waiting for the next scoop to start because I've already saved every single person. I'm gonna try and do a series with a perfect run of Dead Rising where I get every single achievement possible. That one's gonna be tough though, but I want to do that as a scheduled release just because I know it's gonna be a lot of, okay, in order to prove that this is possible, I need all my survivors to be absolutely on point. So it's gonna be a lot of running save point to save point and resetting until you get like, oh, I have 1 hour in-game time to do this. So if, I don't know, Aaron gets stuck and goes crazy, then I just have to deal. I have to just reset and do it again. What's nice, though, is that Dead Rising's fun because it's really good to, like, path that stuff out, which is a speedrunning term. Like, is it worth it? Like, what's, in the long run, what saves you more time, for example? Like, saving a survivor one-on-one so you can run through the areas really fast? Or is it better to make it a harder escort and get, like, 5 people at once, but then you don't have to keep going, like, back and forth? It's a big debate that if you do any kind of, like, challenge or speedrun games is, like, constantly evolving. Like, look at Dead Rising, like, how it's always a question, like, should I go pick up the skateboard or not? Because skateboard will save you time, but it's almost always out of the way. So I'm going to go pick up some food, because you can. Larry won't actually attack you. I do run the risk of... It looks like I'm going to be okay, but I ran the risk. By the way, roll the stick when this happens. Anytime you're stuck, roll the stick. And you can get out a lot faster. There we go. Normally he has time to do a lot more. Oh wow, that stuns him. That's pretty good, actually. I was afraid that if I can't get a good combo, it might take too long, because this is actually a timed fight. So I was afraid it was going to be like, oh man, if it takes me too long to kill this guy, that might be an issue. Just because Carlito is going to die. Oh. So, if you don't know, these cows count, kind of, for, as enemies. It's why there's that, trick to get the, like, don't miss with machine gun achievement on them. If I can get Larry just right, I'm pretty sure he has enough poise for me to, like, hit him a lot of times with the double lariat. Like, there we go, that's perfect. That was perfect. Do it again, Larry. You can just hear, like, all the hits on the cows. Fun fact, if you really want to, like, the perfect weapon to beat him with, the weapon cart is perfect. It's just a giant pain in the ass to get down here. Oh, Larry, don't do this to me. I like how they frame it so you can see Carlito over there. It is possible to get out without taking any hits from that if you're really quick on the spin. So that was easier than I thought. I was actually afraid that was going to be a bad fight. Awesome. Man, I wish PP mattered at all, because it's always like 50,000 PP, like, woo. This does absolutely nothing for me. If you are having trouble with the Butcher, he has a slight weakness to the not the chainsaws. Yes, the mini chainsaws, but also sledgehammer, and there's one back there. He suffers from the same thing as Sean, but to a lesser degree, where because he's tall, and he does horizontal swipes with his Butcher knife, if you use if you hold X on the sledgehammer, Frank will duck down when he swings, and he'll actually swing over Frank when you do that. So it lets you hit him over and over potentially without taking damage. It's not great. Like with the Sean fight, it's awesome because Sean goes down so quick. But technically it is good if you don't have like a mini chainsaw. Shotguns are really good at this point because Cletus will be gone. So you're free to go get as many guns as you want. So yeah. Plus, Larry just eats shotguns. Like he's huge, so you just go right up to him and keep hitting him in the face, and it's pretty easy. He's not too bad. Really, I think one of the bigger issues is the time limit and the fact that he does so much damage. Like if you're not a high level, he can really just like floor you pretty badly. So we gotta go for North Plaza, which is the other way. For some reason I always forget where that little tunnel is to go to the underground. It always is like to the right of North Plaza in my mind, even though I know it's not. Delivery. Okay, so we'll go see it. If I can keep advancing these case files easy enough, that'd be great, but I'm pretty sure the Simone call is essentially the unofficial start of the end, is how I think of it. After that, you still get calls from Otis, but they're all just requests. Like, come back and stop this mutiny. Simone wants a handgun. Cheryl wants you to take photos of her. It's nothing actually that has any weight to it. So if you guys want, like in runs like this, let me know if you want me to continue it. But I have a feeling that with nothing to do, unless I want to go out and just like mess around. Come on. Unfortunately, it's just going to be a lot of standing because there's nothing like really left to do. I kind of wish that the military showed up a little bit earlier because then you can do that. Like, like, the actual military guys themselves aren't an issue because you can one-shot them with the... I always forget the name, but when you rip out these intestines like that, that's a one-shot on the special forces. So it's not like they're actually a challenge. They're actually easier hand-to-hand. So, yeah. And obviously, I'm going to be missing the Brock fight, but considering he's always hand-to-hand, I don't consider that to be interesting either. In fact, I will do the Brock fight on the next challenge run I have for Dead Rising 1, which is going to be... And it turns your spit into a handgun bullet, essentially. Like, it goes farther, and... Oh, sorry, I got a warning on my stream. It goes farther and does significantly more damage. It obviously won't, like, blow up tanks, but it would let you actually fight with it. So, I kind of want to do that and see how things come out. And the reason I mention that is... If you want to cheese, or like kind of be really... If you want to not do the Brock fight properly, you can actually get there's a book that lengthens how long you keep your juices active, and then you can take Spitfire, and basically, right before you fight the tank at the end of the game, you hold that book and you drink the Spitfire, and then you beat the tank, and you'll still have Spitfire. So what you can do is you can stay on the lower portion of tank, and you just spit Brock to death, and then it's a super easy way to beat him. You have to be kind of fast, though, because it will wear off. If I recall, it's pretty powerful, though. Or, because if anything, like, even if you can get him down to, like, half health without taking damage, it's still, like, a significant change, because that fight is very inconsistent. Like, there's sometimes, like, I know I would test different things. Like, for example, the football tackle. That's pretty good against him if you can land it just right, because he'll, like, drop down, not block, and you'll hit him for, like, I want to say like an eighth of his health, which is pretty big in that fight. But you can't consistently do that. And if he blocks you, well then he's just going to block the hit, you do little damage at all, and then he's going to do his like 3-hit combo and knocks you off the tank. And all of a sudden it goes from like an awesome trade to a really, really bad one. So I'm trying to figure out if there's not a better melee strategy. Honestly, if you want something consistent, the best way to kill him is jump kicks. And then everything else is like just risk versus reward. Like, yeah, if you want to do the standing jump kick, it's harder, but it does more damage. If you want to do a football tackle, it's good. Double lariat works, but it's risky. And you can't count on the zombies doing any consistent damage to him. The drop kick is pretty good, I would say. But really, if you want to cheese him, the only way is the Spitfire. That I know of. Like, you can't pick him up or anything. One of the theories I had for getting a perfect run, obviously the issue is getting Zombie Genocider. But I think you can do it in one run, if only because you have unlimited time in not infinity mode, overtime mode. You don't have food, but if you could find a way to like safely kill zombies, in theory you could just farm them forever. And I'm not saying I'm gonna go farm 52,000 zombies with my bare fists, but if you can get to like say 51,000, and by the end of the game you don't have it, well then maybe you can kind of just eke out the rest and take a bunch of food with you. Because I imagine if you take all your food books and just fill the rest with like cooked pizzas, you can go for a long time. So I think you can get that achievement. As for like the other ones, like Frank the Pimp is a much harder one to do, I would think. But we'll see. I want to give it a try. How much time is left? Is this at 10 or is it this? It's at 10 p.m. So I'll probably wait out just this scene and I'll keep talking. Because then we have, it's going to be the facts. If you want, the military shows up at midnight, so I might go and mess around during that time just to get the official ending. But sadly, this is what sucks. Normally what you would do here if you're like a normal player is this would be a great time to go get achievements. Things like kill 10 zombies with the bowling ball, try on all the clothes in the mall. That's a very good option for that. Also, just killing the military is ridiculously fast for leveling up if you're not already max level. Like, it's one of the things, like, I don't bother going out and farming it in my like master runs or whatever, but you can get from level 1 all the way to level 50 in a single run through of the game. That's actually kind of bad in my opinion. I think it kind of sucks how like the leveling and unlocking stuff is a big part of Dead Rising, and all of a sudden you're just done with it and you never go back. Like, no one ever goes back to level 1. You know, there's no point. I do kind of wish they'd let you have like a challenge mode, like let me have half the inventory space, half the health, but give me all the moves still. Like, that's what I would kind of want to play the game at. Like, give me a hard mode. My coffee is super cold. Gosh. I always do this thing where I forget that I have coffee, and it gets way too cold, and it's like, damn. See, okay, here, let me check on the stream. If you have any questions, just drop them in the chat while I got some time. I have a bad habit of not being able to actually look at the chat at the optimal times. Like, what's nice is I know, like, there's a bunch of chat during like the Cletus fight, but I can't look at the chat in the Cletus fight because Cletus is shooting me in the face constantly. And that's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, that ass. There we go. So that you unlock that, I believe someone told me, by breaking 100 things in the game. It's an achievement. Which, by the way, if you ever want to do that achievement easy, there's barrels in the food court. And that's by far, I think, one of the fastest ways, because you can just reset them. Okay, let's see. It's been kind of interesting. It's actually really distracting on the ass, because I keep looking at Capcom, because it's like, it's in the field of my... It's like right there in the center of my field of vision. So I don't... Having a video of me staring at Frank's ass for essentially 6 hours is probably not the most proud thing I have on my YouTube channel, but at least you can stare at that ass with me. So now I just head back. Jesse will be zombified, and Special Forces will start spawning. And after that, like, literally, I believe you can't get captured until midnight. But after that, you're good. And I'll just end the run that way. Honestly, if there wasn't the Butcher... It's kind of tempting. I would let the run end using the bomb if it wasn't for the fact that there's still the Butcher to fight as a Psycho. And Carlito, I guess, if you want to count him. But one of the things that I don't like about doing these run-throughs is the fact that the ending of the run is just so boring. Like, there's just, like, nothing to do other than kill zombies. And I can do that, but after a while, like, how many, like, double lariats can I do? I might just show off every single move. Oh, can I get... Perfect. Here's the zombie swing, or whatever. This is a pretty, actually, awesome move. And you press X and you throw them. If you don't throw him and you keep holding on to him, Frank actually gets dizzy and you lose control of him. It's a very useful move because if you look at that, you can't get swiped like you can normally, so you're pretty safe from zombies. It's just, to my knowledge, there's no easy setup for it. At least not without weapons. I'm sure if you had like a throwing knife, you could like throw at the knife throw it at a zombie's like knee and it would fall down and then you could pick it up that way. But as is, I don't know of any way to like consistently use that. I wouldn't be surprised, but I could actually see that being super lethal to certain psychopaths that have zombies in their fight. Like Adam the Clown, potentially. Like, I don't know what kind of interaction it has, but I could see it being kind of useful there. Like, if you can get him, like, in a corner or, like, in a Paul fight, like, get him stuck and then just repeatedly hit him with a zombie, I could see it taking out, like, half his health. Now, I mean, getting that right set of circumstances where you're actually going to do enough damage and not hurt yourself more by doing that strategy, that's the hard part. By the way, if you didn't see the stream last night, it should still be up on my channel if you want to go back and watch it. Recommend watching the Cletus fight, watching the Machete Man fight, and what was the other one? Adam the Clown fight was really silly, like, because normally I beat him by popping his balloons in his face, like that's the cheese strategy. Apparently those never go away until they hit something. So there was actually at one point the balloons got stuck between like the bottom of the underside of the stairs and the floor, and I'm like fighting Adam, I look over and it's just like spazzing out, bouncing like between two areas really quickly. It was really silly. I want to try and do... I talked before in the last episode about the shenanigans video I want to work on, and just finding some of the really silly stuff you can do in the game, and that's one of them is seeing... I wonder if I get Adam, like, kill all the zombies in, like, the playpen area, and then get to a point that Adam can't reach me, or hit me with his throwing knives, how many balloons can I make him make? Like, will he just fill it up? I think if they collide, it might count, and they'll blow up. But even then, it'd be kind of neat if there's like, hey, kill the zombies here, hop on this building, and then if you want, you can just let Adam kill himself. Because I think actually Paul the arsonist, if you get somewhere safe, can kill himself. It's like this weird mix where you need to be somewhere safe, but you need him to still be active and throwing bombs. But eventually he will die to himself. If you like that kind of pacifism, I actually did a run through of Dead Rising 1 where I didn't kill any zombies. That one was extremely awesome and enlightening, and then until I learned out how to cheese it. I would actually really like a toy run. It would be kind of interesting. I'd want to investigate a little bit more, but I definitely want to put it on like the list. Like certainly if I can start streaming more days, like, and that's more like if there's an audience for it. Like I obviously like Friday night's a really good option for streaming because I know a lot of people will like listen to the stream like while they play something on their own or what have you. But if I could say stream Sunday night as well, I might make it where it's like, oh well, Saturdays or Fridays is when I do the new runs like off the record and stuff, and then Sundays I do challenge runs maybe. I'm looking at doing that, and then yeah, I want to do a toy run because actually some of those toys aren't bad. Like some are like the rat disc or the rat saucer. That's just a bad weapon. So is the laser sword. But if I recall, obviously water gun's terrible. Water gun does have use though. There's certain survivors you have to like hit to get their attention. You can use the water gun to register a hit without damaging them. That's its use. Or to just like kind of reset them. But I'm trying to think. The boomerang, for example, is technically a toy weapon. It's pretty good though. It's just really hard to use. But you can totally like use that against psychos and stuff. You just have to go through and define like what's a toy and what isn't. Like you could make the argument that the boomerang's not a toy, and you don't necessarily want to go through. You don't want to use the game's definition of a toy because technically the small chainsaw from Adam is a toy item. It's a novelty item. That's why you get the novelty book. But I'd definitely be interested. It's another thing where until you do it, I might find out that yeah, I can do a toy run through, but it just takes me 12 hours to kill any psycho because I can only do one hit of damage. I'll take a look at it though. I wouldn't be surprised. I like the idea of killing bosses with the toy Mega Buster. That seems really silly and awesome to me. Plus, it would be fun. I'd put on the clothes from Child's Play in Paradise Plaza. So you like that are like really tiny on Frank. I would totally do that. There's a lot of cool run-throughs you can do of the game. I just kind of wish things like sped up. I'm actually really hoping Off the Record's perfect because I know you can speed up the game on that. What do I got? What's up, Jesse? Can I get her up the stairs? Hey! That was interesting for me for some reason. He is not remorseful at all. Come on. I have some time to kill, that's why I'm doing this. Anyway, let's go and save. But yeah, I think a toy run would actually be really fun. It's actually something I looked at before. But I'll have to make sure there's a good list. Because you also, to do these challenge runs, you need them to be, like, good, but also, like, bad in a way. Like, it would suck if I find out, oh, it just turns out that the toy run just becomes the rat stick. Turns out to be an amazing weapon. And then it's a rat stick. You kind of want to have, like, man, how do I kill... I've got to kill Cletus using only boomerangs. Like, that's interesting. But if it just turns out, oh, the rat stick is actually a reskinned katana, well, then that's not as much fun. But on the other hand, you don't want it to be like, every psycho takes 24 hours to kill because you're doing 1 HP of damage each hit. Like, you don't want that either. So. And that's an issue a lot of games have when I've been trying to do, like, a challenge run. Like, a good example is the Neatslog challenge in Pokemon, which is where you have to catch the first Pokemon in each area. And it does what it's designed to. It's supposed to force you to beat the game using Pokemon you're not used to. Because everyone has, like, their go-to team. But when it's random, you have to just kind of, like, make do. The downside is there's nothing stopping you from just maxing them all out from, like, as soon as you get them. The only thing stopping you is time. So you don't want to, but I try to avoid stuff like that. Where it's like, I could beat this, technically, but not in an interesting way. In the case of Dead Rising, the closest thing to that is, you can make it really challenging runs, but if all I do is just zombie walk everywhere, that's not fun to do, even though technically I have achieved it, you know? Same thing where it's like, I could do a run through, like, I don't know, 0 kills, world record, never take any damage, never heal, that kind of thing. And then if I don't define my requirements, that's just me standing at the helipad. Technically, I did all those challenges, but who wants to see that, you know? There you go. Come on. Can I? Nice. It's interesting. I don't think I've ever killed a zombie with these chairs. I don't think these chairs are anywhere else in the game. I don't know why, but this seems like a really unused area just by camping up here. Like, this second half of the store. Like, they just had to, like, well, we need more room, so I guess just, like, fill it out. Does this store really seat this many people? Like, that seems like way overkill for Dead Rising. Like, what coffee shop needs, like, fucking 40 people in it? Especially when there's, like, another restaurant downstairs. What's the point of even having a food court if there's restaurants in pretty much, like, every area? I don't get it. I mean, obviously the food court's meant to be a thing because, like, a food court's classically a thing in malls. But still. I thought it was an interesting painting. Like, this must be an actual painting, and I wonder where it came from. Like, it'd be kind of interesting if there's a history behind that. Like, it turns out that painting's actually in, like, Capcom's offices or something. A lot of these stores just look so bare. Like, this store is better, but there's a store in Alfresca Plaza that's, like, one shelf and one bench, and then it has a couple things on it. It's like, is this real? The store doesn't even look finished. Magic. It'd be kind of cool if I did a series of just, like, places people never go to in Dead Rising. Like, no one ever goes under these stairs. Now, given there's never anything under here, the only real secret is you can take this little shortcut, which is actually kind of useful if you're coming in this way. But, for example, like, no one ever goes in this store. Like, I also never use guitars. Guitars are actually a super good weapon in Dead Rising because they're basically the same function as, like, a baseball bat, where they're decently damaging, but they're really good at clearing out crowds. But I just never think to get them. And this is the only place in the game you get guitars, if I recall. I think maybe you can get, like, one in some of the CD stores in North Plaza. Which, if you've never done it, look at the posters in the CD store there. It's actually pretty funny. Real Dragon, that's great. A lot of these will actually be references to people who worked on the game. Or it might even be actually existing things. Like, I know there's a newspaper in the construction store of Alfresca that's actually a legitimate newspaper, and I only know that because it's like it has an article on a grocery store I actually worked at. I remember I was like standing there talking to the coward scoop that spawns there, and I was looking at like, wait a minute, wait, what? Like, that's actually like a newspaper like I would get in my hometown. I thought it was really bizarre. I haven't looked for Dead Rising 4. I haven't looked into it a little bit too much. I'm going to look into it a little bit more going forward. I've never been a guy that gets too hyped about games. Like, I don't watch a bunch of trailers because it's like, oh, I either know I'm going to buy it or not. I'm excited just because it's been a long time since I had a new Dead Rising game. I think it's kind of hard to judge it until I understand how they implement things. That's kind of like my take is there's a lot of things that sound really bad, but it could be actually really great if they're implemented well. Or just until you see like an implementation, you don't really know how it's going to come out. So I wanted to kind of reserve judgment. Like a big thing, like I know I did a post on the subreddit one time talking about regenerating health and how that could actually be a really useful thing in Dead Rising. It's midnight, so I think if I go transition, I can go start killing special forces. So I'm going to save and then let me take it. So like regenerating health just as is, like it sounds like really cheesy, but it depends on how it's used. So like for example, assume we have the same health system as Dead Rising 1 where you have like 12 blocks of health at max level. If you can just like wait 30 seconds and fully heal to max health, yeah, that's silly. But what if you only healed, say, up to 3 blocks? So all that you still have regenerating health, but that meant that you're never going to get one shot by anyone. So it's, in a way, I think that would be actually would make Dead Rising 1 a little bit better, is you don't have to worry about, oh, Sniper Carlito does 3 blocks of damage, I have 4 blocks health, so unless I'm full health constantly, you don't stand a chance. He just turns around, bang, you're dead. That's actually really annoying. So I could see if it's used like that, it could be really good. Or if it's like, yeah, you can wait, but the zombies are like super aggressive, then it's not really an option. So let me demonstrate on this guy. You can just pull their guts out, and that's a one-shot kill. And then I'm just gonna take me. It's actually interesting. If you get close enough to them, they'll shoot through you without damaging you because the bullets come from the end of the gun. Like, I might be safe here. Because they don't want to shoot through that guy. Oh, damn it. He looked too far to the side and he hit me. Take your picture. Drama. So, stuff like that, I don't know. Or, like, it's just really weird with the wording that they use. Like, I know they said that there isn't necessarily going to be psychopaths in the game, but they're going to have some kind of weird analog. Like, I wondered if that didn't mean, like, does that mean they have special zombies? Does that mean you, like, oh, you have a boss, but he's, like, the boss is a tank? Well, that technically wouldn't be a psychopath, but it's still, like, the same style of boss fight, you know? So until I actually see what they're doing, I don't know. I want to reserve judgment. This is actually working out way better than I expected it to. I just check the time. Oh, I thought it, like, despawned that guy. Huh. Oh, fuck. I messed up my setup. No. Hey, guys, what's up? So, stuff like that, I just want to reserve judgment. There we go, yeah. His gun keeps moving. Because he's, like, drifting. But other than that, I don't know. I like the idea. There's a fan theory that someone has that gets talked about, that the reason Frank looks, like, really weird is that it's actually a movie set in Willamette, and they're like they're shooting a movie about Frank's first encounter, and then that halfway through the movie they were like using real zombies, and it breaks out again, and then that's the impetus for Dead Rising 4. That would be kind of interesting because that would explain everything, right? Like, this is why Frank's spouting memes and he looks weird, because that's his actor, and then he plays the real Frank later. But at the same time, you could see why they wouldn't want to disclose that until the game comes out. So that could be why they're like kind of quiet about it. You know, that would be kind of interesting to me, personally. Anyway, let's damn. So I want to die to this. Fisticuffs. Oh, wow. I might have hit that guy because he went down really quickly from punching. Maybe that book does do a lot of damage. Like, I have that wrestling book. I didn't think it did, like, it actually did much. But against these guys, it is. That's weird. There we go. So I'm dying to get captured so I can end the game. So you can actually get captured by the helicopter as well. But, I don't know, this is a little bit simpler. I also want to use this time to demonstrate. So normally what you do is, when they're looking away, you're supposed to shake the stick to break free of the zip lines or whatever. So this is one thing I want to demonstrate because it's the only place you can. So this first time I'm going to shake the stick to demonstrate, I guess, how good that is once I get an opening. So this is me shaking the stick and it's going up. And then I'm going to demonstrate me rolling the stick to show you just like how drastically the game interprets it differently. So like this is me rolling the stick. It just goes up so much faster. Now I'm not going to break free. I actually want them to hit me because every time this happens you lose like an hour or two. It'll skip forward. So this lets you end the game prematurely. It's actually really useful. There you go. I think it might actually be more like 45 minutes. I don't know for sure. I don't know why Frank turns so red when he does that. If you didn't notice, we are in the parking lot next to the maintenance tunnels. That's where they take you. Come on. Man, Frank must have such a concussion after this. If you get captured by the military, there's actually an ending specific to that where, like, Frank doesn't die, but he gets, like, detained and he doesn't get to release his stuff. Man, he was quick on that. I wonder, can I still answer that scoop? There we go, that's probably actually time. I've never gotten a call there before. That being said, I mean, I never actually take these endings. I'll let this play out in case you've never seen this ending. And I'll end the stream after. But, alright. It was a fun run-through. I wish that there was a little more action for melee only, because obviously killing zombies is easy. So really, the only highlights of this run-through are the psycho fights. If you want to go back and see those, you can either rewind this stream for the Butcher, and I also have the stream I did last night out on my channel. If you want to go to that, you can actually watch the whole thing there. Recommend the Cletus fight and the Machete Man fight, Cliff in Chryslips. Those are both a ton of fun. Sniper Carlito was kind of interesting too, but there's a lot of him just running away. So here's all the survivors. I didn't bother saving all of them because I wanted to leave time, because the Cletus fight took like 12 hours of in-game time. It was like a whole ordeal. But yeah, I wish it broke down like what you killed with what. Like if I could show you like you have 100% kills with unarmed. I wish I could prove that I didn't just like go get the Mega Buster off stream and kill a bunch of stuff. But sadly, there's no way for me to do that. Alright. Of course, I re-got the achievement where you get 1,000 zombie kills. Just because, how do you not with a melee-only run, alright? So again, if you weren't here last time, there is a survey, if you haven't taken it yet, in the description of the stream. If you want to say what you want me to stream next, you can say either challenge runs for Dead Rising 1. I have the Dead Rising 2 master run I'm looking at, where I go save every survivor from level 1 and beat every psycho. I can go do a blind run-through of Case West, Dead Rising 2 off the record, or I can play Case 0 if you haven't seen that on my channel. I also can do a blind run-through of Dead Rising 3, or even other games if you let me know. I believe there's like a fill-in-the-blank option on there if you want me to do something entirely different as well. But yeah, I stream every Friday at 6 p.m. Central, and then I usually pick back up the next day, depending on how much time is left in the game, so hope to see you next time. I'll stick around in the chat for a little while, even though I'm going to be ending the stream, so if you have any questions about something in particular, just fire that off there, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.